Hey, what's up, guys? North Georgia Unit Flippers here. So, look, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I would not get into storage unit flipping. Okay, if you're considering it, or if you've maybe started, you're probably going to need to hear this. So, this is a quick video, very short, very effective. But if you think about these 5 things and it's like, hey, you know, maybe I shouldn't, I promise you, they're just worse than you really think. Okay, number 1 is you have to be able to move inventory. If you do not have a way to get the inventory sold, then you're going to just become a hoarder of other people's crap. And that's not what you want to do. The whole point of the storage unit flipping, especially for people like me, number 1 point is this suspense fulfillment. Like, I love the thrill of the hunt. That's the number 1 reason why I do it. And number 2 is to make money, you know, and that's why really you got to have those 2 things. Like, you got to love the risk, the excitement and everything. But to make money, you have to be able to move inventory. So you have to have a specific type of pattern that you build and develop to move inventory. So for instance, if you look at like a 5x10 that we just got yesterday in Georgia, one of Georgia's richest cities, the video's, you know, out now, it's phenomenal. But even that half-filled 5x10 unit, if you're going through everything and looking at everything and listing it and putting it up, it's going to take you significant amount of time to do that, more than you really think. Again, storage unit flipping isn't just what you see on TV or even what you see on YouTube channels. There's a lot more. I would argue about 70% of the work of storage unit flipping, like minimum 70 to 80%, is done behind the scenes, and you don't see it. You know, you got great YouTube channels, like hopefully one day mine's great for you guys. But you have other people like Treasure Hunting with G-Biz, him and his wife, like, you know, they are doing tons of units, but they are not, you know, filming the 70 to 80% behind the scenes that's done. And they're not, I'm not saying they're doing that intentionally to hide it, but it's realistically, like, if they recorded everything they did, they would have like 7 to 9 hour videos for one unit sometimes. So same thing with us, is we're putting, you know, edited stuff as far as like, you're not watching me drag it to the trailer, you're not watching me go through it even more in depth. You're watching me go through the initial unboxing to see if there's any treasures that we can find right there, right? So the hard part at times is moving stuff and getting rid of it. My personal strategy is when I have a unit, I go through it very quickly for videos, and then I take it to the house and I go through them even further. And as I'm going through, I'm listing it in my Facebook group, Justin and Ashley's Bargains on Facebook, where we put everything up, typically starting for $1. If it has some value, I'll put obviously a little bit more money for it. I put it lower in the group than I would on eBay, just because I have customers that have been with us for 4 or 5 years that, you know, I want to get an opportunity to maybe buy something more cheap for them, cheaper price than they would get on eBay. Some other items they're not going to get put in the group because I'm like, I know nobody is going to buy this because maybe it's just too valuable, right? So then I put an eBay pile, right? And I go through everything. And it can take you, you know, like this 5x10 that's half filled will take me probably about 6 hours to go through everything and list it, because it is time consuming. So if you don't have a way to move it, you don't want to be hoarding it. So my next step, if it doesn't sell and it was listed as $1 or something cheap, it's going straight to my dollar yard sale bin. And from there, every 2 to 3 months, I mean, really it's every 2 months, we do a massive dollar yard sale to get everything cleared out. After a month of items sitting on eBay and they haven't sold, or Facebook Marketplace, I will drop them usually about 25%. If they're sitting after a month too, I'll drop them another 25%. But if items have been sitting in there for 3 to 4 months, I'm not going to hoard them. I'm going to put them a dollar auction on eBay and let them sell that way. If they don't sell after a dollar auction, then they go on the dollar yard sale bin. So I do not have merchandise that sticks with me longer than 3 months. And some people are like, well, what are you going to do? Look, I'm not in the game of hoarding other people's crap. Okay, that's the one thing you got to understand. Number 2, I know I said this would be a short video, but I really have to harp on how to, you know, make sure that you're moving it. Number 2 of ways not to get into this game of storage unit flipping is if you don't have ways to actually transport your merchandise. I have seen people show up in a freaking car to get a 10x30 unit and empty it that way. And look, do you, boo, but if you genuinely do not have a way that you can get stuff quick, effectively, and affordable, then you probably don't want to get into this game just yet. And the biggest reason why I say not to is, like, No, you don't need to have a big, huge, fancy truck, a big, huge, fancy trailer, but you do need to have a way to be cost effectively moving it. Because yeah, sure, you might get things moved, but if you're getting units and they're like, you know, pretty decently far away, or they're not close enough to you, then you're going to be wasting so much time and money on gas going back and forth. So yesterday, the place I got it from was 1 hour and 15 minutes. Imagine just even a half-filled 5x10, so we'll just call it a, 5x5, realistically a full 5x5. If I just went in a car, I would not have enough ability to get it all in there. It would have taken me at least 3 trips. And so you got to think, that's 1 hour 15 there, 1 hour 15 back. That's 2.5 hours and 3 trips. So that's 7.5 hours. You literally just did a full-time job of going and getting stuff, and you haven't even made money yet, because you do have to consider your time as money. So if you're typically making $20 an hour and you just spent almost 8 hours going out there, you got to think, man, that's already over $160 that you've got with your time involved, and you haven't even gone through it. You haven't even listed it. So make sure you have a good way to get the stuff here. This thing makes my beard look so orange. Anyways, the third thing that if you don't do this or don't have this, then you don't want to get into the game, is work ethic. Okay. Storage unit flipping is significantly more work than you think. It's more trash than you think, which is another point I'll get into in a minute. But if you don't have a work ethic that says, hey, I'm going to get this stuff, I'm going to start going through it, I'm going to list it, I'm going to get it moved, I'm going to get it sold, then you're not going to enjoy this business. Because if you, again, just get it and you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm going to take my time, I'm not going to get it listed, like, you're hoarding other people's crap. That's the theme of our channel, is don't hoard other people's crap. So if you don't have a good, solid work ethic, you're going to hate this business, because it's a lot of manual lifting, a lot of moving stuff, a lot of research, a lot of packaging, a lot of shipping. You have to be on it to make money consistently in this business, okay? Number 4, like I hinted, is the trash. You have to have a way to get the trash out of here. With our other business at our Rage Room, we have 2 commercial dumpsters already. So most of the time I can just get it out, get it gone. If there's mattresses, because I avoid mattresses like the plague, unless it's a good unit, I'll suffer the $75 paying someone to come pick it up and toss it, if it's a good unit, right? So you have to know of how you're going to get rid of your trash. A lot of municipalities have dumps that you can drop stuff off, but most of the time they have restrictions on what you can drop off of. How much, a truck bed only full. Well, sometimes you might have a whole trailer of trash. So how are you going to get rid of it? So if you don't have a good way to get rid of it, and get that trash gone, this business is going to suck for you, because your yard's just going to start piling up with trash. Okay. And number 5, this is kind of a a bigger thing for me personally, that if you don't do this, you're not going to have success in this business of making money. Okay. And it's consistency. So there's 2 different, in my opinion, there's 2 different types of people. There's the hobby buyers, then there's the, lifestyle, the lifestyle buyers. The hobby buyers are the ones that kind of say, hey, I kind of want to do this here and there or whatever, but I want to make all my money for it. I don't want to have a job, but I only want to do 1 or 2 units a month max. Okay. That consistency range is not realistic of what your expectations are. So if you look at it and say, hey, I want to do this as a hobby, I want to do 1 or 2 units a month, but I'm still going to keep my job. A hobby is a hobby, okay? A hobby means you're doing it part-time on the side. Your hobby should hopefully make you money, unless you're doing a hobby that I just love hoarding people's crap, which is a stupid hobby for you. But if people do this inconsistently but expecting massive returns, that consistency with your mindset is going to cause you a lot of hate for having to do this. I go into all of this in the business of, as I flip 4 to 5 units a month, and I have a business that runs pretty much runs itself. I have 5% involvement every month at this point. So this consistency for me is more than enough to make a good amount of money to pay for our consistent vacations my wife and I and our kids go on. It pays for, extracurricular stuff. I have the consistency mindset. And really, number 5 is mindset. In case you haven't got it, when I say consistency, it deals with your mindset. But if you don't have the right mindset of what to expect from this business, then you're going to end up hating it and you shouldn't even get involved in it. If you think I'm going to flip one unit and I'm going to be rich, I don't know what the hell you're thinking. This business is not about getting rich quick. There's a lot of hard work. There's a lot, and any storage unit flipping channel or even people you meet on the street that flip storage units will tell you that if you consistently think that I'm going to be rich on every single unit, you're going to lose yourself. You're going to go insane because you're going to have disappointments. You're going to have, safes that you spend $3,500 on a unit on that are completely empty and completely useless. Boxes and bins and stuff that you're like, man, it's packed with bins and they're all filled with just disgusting clothes, right? You have to have the consistent mindset that says, hey, this is a long-term strategy for me. I understand I can make money quickly on some units. I might have some bangers that I'm able to sell stuff right off the bat. I can make my money back in less than a week. Like, that's phenomenal. But you also have to understand and have the mindset that you will consistently run into units that absolutely drain you and make you question why you're even doing it. So those are the 5 things that I think that if you think about it, these are 5 reasons why you should not get into storage unit flipping. So really look at yourself before you dive into this and create number 5, create the expectations and the mindset of what you're really looking at doing when getting into this and the expectation of how you're going to be making money. So anyways, guys, thank you all so much. And I hope you all have a good one. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments.